Hey, what's up everyone? Game Pizza Boy here, host of the Pizza Party. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing fantastic today. I am back for another Marvel Rivals video, and in today's video, I'm kind of doing something I wanted to plan out since starting the game, and that is my first proper hero breakdown video type of thing, where I'm going to kind of just cover a certain hero of mine and just discuss all their abilities, their stats, kind of let you know completely what to expect when using them, and then I will give you guys my kind of tips and thoughts when playing that certain hero in mind, so you can be able to, take advantage of all of them and use them to your advantage. So you really definitely want to listen here to hear my thoughts on everything. If you guys want to hear this cool video, it's like kind of like a guide video, but it's more like a kind of idea to just explain my own thoughts more and tips basically some way. So it's like a mix of a guide and discussion kind of based on the certain hero. So it's a nice little fun way to kind of have a little fun with this bit, and I wanted to just enjoy this with you guys on discussing these heroes in mind as a nice little fun way to get some content going for the channel for Marvel Rivals, because I've been enjoying this game and it's been way too much fun. So I thought about we can just have fun with this. And for my first hero I wanted to do, I thought about starting one I've been enjoying a lot lately. It's personally one of my most mainly played supports, and that is Loki. I really, really love Loki so much. I think Loki's pretty fun to play as. He's really fun, and it can be some interesting play styles you could do with him. So I want to cover him for my first proper hero breakdown video for Marvel Rivals. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, guys. Before we begin, as always, hit the like button if you definitely find this video pretty fun and enjoyable. Comment down below and tell me, do you play Loki? What are your thoughts about Loki? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that for sure. And don't forget to subscribe. I would appreciate the support as always. Thank you guys so much, everything, as always, for the support on the channel. I appreciate it. We're actually close to getting 100 subscribers on the channel, which is honestly amazing. So let's keep it up. Let's keep it the grind. Let's get it. Now, without further ado, let's get right into it, and I'll go and discuss to you, my friends, about how you can understand and play as Loki. So, just to explain quickly how it goes right there, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of his abilities, his normal attack, his ultimate, everything like that, go through all of it about what they do, as well as their stats, and then I will give you my thoughts on basically the entirety of the character, as well as also give you some tips on what you should do. So, we're going to get right into it. First, starting off with his normal attack, the Mystical Missile, which is obviously from his staff right there. It is a single cast projectile with delayed impact that also has damage and healing for it. Its damage deals 30 damage per cast, and the spell field for the health deals about 40 health per cast. So you get a good amount of health right there and a little bit of damage right there. So he definitely heals quite a lot bit right there for sure. However, though, is not a lot, I would say, pretty much. It's not a crazy amount very much, though. There is one ability in mind we'll be getting to in just a moment to help out with that, and I'll be explaining that a little bit more. It has about 10 ammo slots, so that means you can shoot about 10 times before needing to reload. It has a fire rate about 1.75 per second, so you could. It's quite a. It's not a very all-time very quick fast shooting attack, but it definitely is still like quite a little quick in its own way completely. But once you start a building mine, which again we'll get into very soon, it's going to help make that a lot more better, of course. Its range can go about 3 meters in about a spherical radius. So, obviously, within about a 3-meter range, and within a good spherical range of Loki, you could be able to fire a Mystical Missile, and it will definitely, hopefully, hit a target. You can't critical hit any targets, obviously, since it's more of a healing-based ability. So the damage is based on body damage and body healing. So no crits. Its projectile speed for how fast it goes once initiating for the projectile itself is about 100 meters a second. So it basically can go pretty fast and far off pretty well on its own ways. You could be able to reach out to some enemies at a good range completely. Then there is the fallout damage, beginning around 0.5 meters, and then it will decrease to about 50% at 2.5 meters. So obviously it will go down from 30 damage to another low bit of damage completely. I believe with 50% with 30 damage, I believe that's probably going to be like probably 10 damage or something like that, I think. I don't know. Probably around that mark. Probably very much low to the extent where it doesn't even inflict barely much damage at all. So you gotta be careful when you're very much distant, but this is no big deal to me, because typically with Loki in a support, you're very much focusing on healing more than you are damaging. Though just be careful, though, you will have a damage drop if you go too far. Now let's go ahead and get moving on to some of his abilities, and his ultimate. Starting off first is the right mouse button. This one is called Deception. This makes it where you'll become invisible. It's an instant cast. It can heal you about 20 health points per second while invisible, and it lasts for 50 seconds in a cooldown until it needs to be used again, and it will spawn a doppelganger of you. The doppelgangers will play a very big role with Loki, as they will help out actually with pretty much healing your team and even also keeping your team in bay completely. The ability is really good to help out, especially for escapes and just to kind of get yourself placing another doppelganger of some sorts. I really use it a lot, so it's pretty helpful. Definitely keeping out to use that at good timings. The next ability is Backstab, simple as there, and it will allow you to pull out your dagger and stab enemies, and you can deal extra damage to enemies when attacking enemies from behind. It's a single cast spell field. It will damage about 30 damage to a melee damage in the front, and then about 45 in the back, with about a 3-meter range, so make sure you're quite close to enemies to hit them, of course. This ability definitely is what you expect completely. It allows you to backstab enemies completely and take them out right there. I personally am not a crazy fan of it as much as I don't get a chance to use it too often, but it definitely can come in if you want to do a sneak attack and just get someone from behind, of course. But typically with Loki, I would use this just in case if you need to like get behind someone, being stealthy, and then attack someone to help yourself out and then get back with your team, of course. So there's some moments I'll explain a bit more about the ability in just a moment. Then there is Devious Exchange. This ability lets you just simply swap with your selected illusion. So basically it allows you to simply just choose any illusion that's still in the field, alive and well, and you could just do is just teleport to them and you will take their place completely. It allows you to target at them. After you use it, it goes on a cooldown for 15 seconds, and you can reach pretty far, about 30 meters from the said doppelganger target. So as long as you're within 30 meters at least, you can just push the F button and teleport right back to them, and it's really helpful. It's a good ability to kind of get back to the playing field right there, or you could use it to also help teleport to a certain place if you need to, of course. It can really come in handy a lot, so I recommend definitely using this some good timing points if you need to recover or need to get back with your team. The next one is called Doppelganger. Doppelganger allows you to project an illusion that can cast some of Loki's abilities. This one basically just allows you to place any doppelganger up to about 2, at least at a time, during the field, and project them, and they will basically play like Loki every time. And what happens when you place them is that it will have a cooldown for 12 seconds per charge. It will let you place them within 30 meters from your distance, and it's at least as far. And what's most important about the doppelgangers, which I'll mention now, is that whenever you have doppelgangers, if you happen to, let's just say, shoot at your allies to heal them, you will actually let your doppelgangers do the same thing as well too. So let's just say you place them in positions where you and your allies are in front face to face. Let's say you have Hulk or Thor in the front, and you place your doppelgangers or 2 doppelgangers, and you decide to shoot at your Hulk to heal him. Your allies, your doppelganger allies, will actually do the same, shoot him, and it will also heal them just the same amount of health, I believe, too, as well. So that means if you end up shooting them with like 2 other clone Lokis, and you as the main one, you're basically giving each 3 different Lokis 40 health points per second to Hulk, making it easier to heal them very completely. So if you place them right in front of them and just use that stuff, you will heal them very quickly and make it easy to help your teammates so they don't die. So it's good to find some good positioning when using that for sure, which I'll explain a little more in my tips in my breakdown video, like my final thoughts video when I get to that part in just a moment, of course. Then there is Regenerative Domain. This ability, I would say, is probably his most strongest ability. This allows you to summon a bunch of rune stones to you and any of your 2 or any remaining doppelgangers. And what it will do is it will cause a magical field that provides immediate healing to your allies and converts incoming damage into further healing completely. So you push this button, you will be able to release a spell field at the location of Loki and the illusions that are still remaining. It will heal about 100 points per second to any allies. It has a duration of 5 seconds, though it can't be destroyed by anyone if they destroy the stone right above said Loki or illusions. And then it goes on a 25-second cooldown, a very lengthy one, but it makes sense for such a very powerful ability. It has a range of a more cylindrical spell field with about 5 meters of its radius and a height of 2 meters. So at least within that small range, as long as people can get within it, they can heal about 100 points per second. And whenever, of course, the ability health is being active when you shot, it's also never 100 health too as well, so similar main amount of health completely. And then it has a conversion rate of 30%. This ability basically is definitely one of his best abilities to heal completely, and it's good timing. You got to use this for sure, which I'll give you my full thoughts on that very soon, of course. Now, of course, is obviously his ultimate, known as the God of Mischief. What this ability does is what you expect. You can target both allies or enemies and copy them and use any of their abilities, especially their ultimate, for a brief moment. You target at a certain ally or enemy, and then once you use it, you have 15 seconds to enjoy it and use their ult and their abilities. And it has an energy cost of 3,700 points to be used again. So after transforming, Loki's ultimate ability will be fully charged. He will cast a transformation type ultimate ability, which will extend the duration of basically his devious exchange until the transformation ability ends, especially too. So not only that, you'll get access to copying enemy or allies' abilities in their ultimates, but this will also, whenever activating and casting a transformation type ultimate ability, it will actually extend the duration of your devious exchange completely, so until the ability ends. So this makes it pretty much very nice and well for some good escapes, and even anytime when you think things are going pretty bad for you, for sure. So it's really good. So you want to take advantage of any of that at time and whenever you get to, and only pretty much use this when you absolutely need to. Be very careful whenever you use it. You want to use time it just right. The last thing to talk about now is, of course, his team ability, which obviously he has one like many of the other heroes in the game, and he has one called Loki's Son Reborn, and this basically allows you to have a little something special when you're in the presence of any certain character, of course, like many heroes. So for this one, for Loki, he needs to be in the presence with a player who's playing Hela, and if you have Hela in presence with Loki, this passive ability will activate for him. What does this do? Well, it makes it where whenever Hela lands a final hit when defeating an enemy at all, this allows her to resurrect both either Loki or Thor in the respawn phase, or grant them a bonus if they are still alive. So basically, what will happen is this will allow you to, whenever Loki or Thor are still alive, so in this case Loki, they will get a small bonus health, about 50 bonus health completely from this, and it will also, an ability delay lasts for like 1.5 seconds completely for the health at least, but you also get a nice little one-time chance, at least before, like, obviously getting into your next proper death, and it will allow you to revive yourself. So basically, if you die and Hela gets a kill, Loki will come back to life very quickly, even with Thor too as well. So this will help out usually out with the games a lot. So if anything goes wrong, you can keep yourself like brought back to life and well, and get back in track right there. It's pretty helpful. So honestly, definitely, if you have someone who's playing Hela and you got a Loki or Thor, take advantage of that. Just make sure to be careful though. If Hela dies, then the revival ability in the Hela won't work anymore, because you need Hela to make sure that they are getting kills on enemies, of course, and landing final hits. So be ready for that for sure. Alright, now time for me to discuss my full tips and thoughts on the entirety of Loki and his playset, as well as also a few things you should know when playing as him for each different ability, normal attack, ultimate, etc. So first, let me go through this real quick. Now, when it comes to his normal attack, pretty much, like, he is not as the most strongest, in my opinion, when it comes to dealing with the healer there. He's still a pretty good healer, but again, there are some moments where he needs to be very careful, because with his main normal attack, he's pretty slow completely. So you have to be very cautious. I usually recommend trying to still keep close with your tanks and your allies, but try to at least stay back a little bit too when you need to, because you got enough range as long as you just keep back a lot as well too. Then one thing to mention real quick, especially whenever you definitely are going with your teammates, I recommend make sure you take advantage of using Doppelganger, as again, Doppelganger will summon those illusions, and those illusions can help heal your teammates very quickly, because they all will shoot at your enemies. They also do the same thing with enemies too. So like allies, they'll get healed, and if you shoot at enemies, your Doppelgangers will also shoot enemies too, and deal the same amount of 30 damage as well too on impact as well too per cast. And it can kind of come in handy as well to completely just wipe the floor on them if you want to. And it's really important to take advantage of those Doppelgangers very much, because they won't die so easily unless an enemy is taking care of them, and it does take a lot of health to kill a Doppelganger, obviously, of course. So make sure you place those two Doppelgangers as much as possible when you do have the charges up when you can, and make sure you obviously shoot at your allies as possible to help heal them, especially right there. Do not bother trying to shoot at enemies too often unless they're getting weak and you want to help your allies out when they're still pretty good health, or whenever you definitely think you're in trouble and getting attacked by one enemy or something like that completely. Another thing to mention is whenever you do Deception, it's important to definitely use it whenever you need to get a grand escape. But I recommend also using it when you need a new Doppelganger, because it will also conjure an illusion Doppelganger for you when you want to. So you can use that to also place on in any certain position if you want to, so that you can then have a second one too. Remember, you can only place two at a time, but if you don't have enough slots right now from the Doppelganger ability, you could just place one from the Doppelganger ability and then place one from the Deception ability. and you can just wait 15 seconds for the deception to come back again, and you'll basically have your extra illusion to help you out with that completely, to shoot at enemies and allies completely as a whole, which is really good. But another thing to mention, though, is make sure you definitely take advantage of using that doppelgangers when using Devious's exchange. This is something I can't keep on making a mistake all the time, and just remember that with Devious Exchange, it's a really good ability to help you teleport. It's an extensive 15-second cooldown, but it will help you out when you're in trouble. So make sure you're definitely taking advantage of trying to escape with it. Try to figure better management positioning. So try to position obviously your Loki doppelgangers on places where they're like high up, where they can view your allies and enemies, or in positions behind a certain cover if you can when trying to aim for your allies or enemies. Just something to help you out a little more so that you can be able to do that and your doppelgangers don't die so quickly. Another thing that's important to also do is with Devious Exchange, you want to make sure, with those positioning, you want to make sure you place your doppelgangers in places where you can teleport far enough. So make sure you have a good position where the doppelganger is, so that you could be able to just teleport away as quick as can. Because if you don't have your deception, you can't hide, you can at least use Devious Exchange to then quickly get back and hopefully get away as quick as possible. The backstab ability, one thing to mention though, do not try to be encouraged to try to go for like backstab attacks. Again, you only deal 45 damage in the back riders, which is not a lot to kill a lot of heroes unless they're very weak. And again though, even with Loki, you're not going to kill anyone so quickly by yourself. You definitely need your team for this, so try not to be heavily reliant on this. Instead, just only do it when you like absolutely are invisible in deception using that, or when you absolutely like are getting attacked and they're getting up close and personal and you need to like reload and you need to melee them. So take advantage of that as you can and try to do everything as possible to like use the regular melee attack ability to help you do like 30 melee damage and get past them. But again though, just be cautious when they're getting close for sure. Then with Regeneration Domain, I would, as important advice with this, especially with your doppelgangers, you want to make sure you use this as sparingly as possible and carefully, because again, it's a very long cooldown of 25 seconds, and this ability can really make or break your team a lot, so you really want to help out with this for sure. But again, you don't want to spam this. Do not spam this. Another thing to know is that, again, like I said, is that whenever you use this, it's not just Loki, but his illusions also have the ability placed upon him within that small synergical spell field. So you want to eventually use this with your illusion especially. I highly recommend this placed in positions where your allies most commonly are being held up upon, or make sure at least it's placed on the objective. Another thing you can also do is also with doppelgangers, place them on the objective, especially those that are moving or on certain control points, because you can actually leave them there and they will stay on it completely. And even when you place the ability, it will still obviously like use like your regenerative lane, it will stay in that one previous spot it was there before, which is good enough, because then your allies, if they're getting pushed back by the enemy team, the field will stay there completely and make it really tougher for like enemies to shoot the crystal, unless they decide to shoot the doppelgangers you have, or they have to get up close and personal and shoot the crystals. But at least still, either way, you'll at least be able to heal your teammates very quickly and take advantage of just getting them healed up completely if you're too distracted with someone else or you can't get to everyone at once. So place your doppelgangers in good position where you can heal everyone with your normal, regular, mystical, missile attack right there, and also use your doppelgangers to help with that, but also to use it as a way to kind of give them a more area range of healing when they need to the most. Then there's the ultimate he has, the God of Mischief, and the one thing I gotta mention though for sure, do not try to spam this too much often, and be careful who you're choosing. You want to choose wisely on who you're going to use that ult for, because there's many you could choose from, so just decide carefully who you want to use for. Sometimes you might need to decide if a certain like hero on the enemy team or ally is as crucial for a certain position. Usually, typically, I would copy basically whoever be another tank if you need to definitely get some more push or push back against your enemies, or use some like another support, like such as the Invisible Woman or Cloak and Dagger, because their ults can also come in handy a lot for sure. Or if you definitely need to use like a counter DPS 2 as well to help out with a few more supports that the enemy team has. So just take advantage of all that kind of stuff, and you should be fine with whatever you choose. Also, try not to use it so sparingly as possible, because there's sometimes moments where you got to realize, do you really want to copy a certain hero's abilities with your ult right now, or do you just want to continuously heal as normally Loki and still heal your teammates? Because there's moments where your teammates are going to need you the most, because once you switch over to a certain hero and it's not your heal whatsoever, you're going to probably be in big trouble for your teammates, because then there will only be like one other heal left or no healers, and your teammates are going to be struggling a lot. So again, choose carefully whenever you use God of Mischief, and especially who you're going to end up copying, and especially when you're going to start doing it. So maybe use it whenever you absolutely need to, or when you obviously need to use this with certain heroes in mind for a certain situation right there. As for my entire thoughts on Loki as a whole, I think he is probably not the most strongest support hero, only when you're actually using the abilities in mind, because again, his normal mystical missile healing is still quite a little bit slow in some aspects, and you won't get enough healing all the time. But once you pull up Doppelganger, and especially Regeneration Domain, you are basically going to heal your teammates a lot, and they are not going to go down so easily unless the enemy team is smart enough to take care of you, especially, which I've gotten targeted very easily for my own use of healing. So that's some smart play styles that people do a lot for that reason. So you want to be very careful when playing Loki a lot. I think Loki definitely can be strong, but only in the capabilities of his abilities. Like, obviously, Backstab is not... It's just a melee thing, that's it, pretty much. His Deception, I would say, is pretty good for both just trying to get away, but also to place another clone, another Doppelganger, so you can just use that in case you don't have enough for Doppelganger's ability again. Devious Exchange is a nice way to kind of get out of a situation if you need to, but it's best to position it very well, I would say. But Doppelganger and Regeneration Domain are two of his best abilities, in my opinion, because again, they focus on eccentrically making Loki a very better healer completely than what he is normally without set abilities. Without Doppelgangers, you're not going to heal a lot for your allies, and without Regeneration Domain, if you're not careful with and you spam it a lot, you're not going to get the most out of it completely, and your team is just going to get wiped out so quickly. So again, use it sparingly as possible when you're spawning in Doppelgangers and using Regeneration Domain, and especially find good positioning when using those Doppelgangers. Those Doppelgangers are very key to helping Loki get through and help his entire team push objectives completely when using that. So you gotta be very careful. And the God of Mischief ultimate is not bad too as well. I actually do quite enjoy it, although it's just basically like Echo from Overwatch right there, just copying off other previous enemies or ally heroes basically. So just use it sparingly as possible and use it whenever you need to. And yeah, I mean, overall, I think Loki is a pretty fun hero to play as. I just like him so much. And despite that, he's so heavy reliant on his Doppelgangers a lot, if you just play very well and know how to place those Doppelgangers, know to manage Regeneration Domain, and know when it's time to either do a little bit of deception and get out, or to teleport with Devious Exchange, or just know when it's time to use your ult and say that, okay, I'm ready to use this, who should I choose? As long as you play it very well, you'll be able to take the most advantage out of it and really win some games for your teammates because of your eccentric healing. He's really good. I really love playing the hell out of Loki a lot. He's one of my favorites, and I think definitely you guys will enjoy him too if you practice him pretty well. He's definitely probably one of my personal favorites. Again, I don't think he's the most very much powerful healer, but only when you know how to play him well with using both Regeneration Domain and Doppelganger. Again, Doppelganger will help out so much to heal your teammates if you place them in positions where you can do that, and especially deal with damage to enemies if you want to as well. And obviously, Regeneration Domain will help you out very much when things are getting crucial. Time that right, use it well, know when you're dealing with a multiple of your allies needing heals, and just be very careful and keep your distance, and try to still stay close to your teammates if you can, but keep your distance as possible, and just go in full out heal completely. Alright, well there you go. That is my entire video, my first hero breakdown for one of the heroes, and the first time Loki. I hope you guys found this pretty helpful and fun. Again, I just wanted to do this just to kind of get my breakdown on this, and I'll be doing different heroes in the future. Definitely let me know in the comment section below if you also want me to do a certain hero of mine. I'll be trying every one of them for you guys, so feel free to let me know in the comment section below. But I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, guys. I appreciate everyone for the love and support, as always. Hopefully to do more in the future. You take care, my friends. Have a good rest of your day. Keep on partying, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right, my friends. Take care, my friends. Peace.